Okay, next segment. It's an article from The Guardian. No, sorry, article from The Guardian. From WBEZ. Guardian or, here, and I'm going to show you it. Okay. Guardian or Warrior? David Brown's first year as Chicago's top cop pulled him in two directions. This is by Patrick Smith, if I'm not mistaken. Let's start off with a quote. This was the reform-minded leader that Dallas residents came to know during Brown's 6 years running the city's department. It was also the leader that Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot promised when Brown took his oath as top cop here 1 year ago. I have no idea what that's based on. No idea. I'm not gonna tell you the research that we've done on Brown, but I'm gonna say it's coming out later this probably early summer. I don't know what they're talking about. The reporting on Brown in Chicago from Chicago journalists about his time in Dallas sucks. Patrick Smith from BEZ happens to do the least worst of that reporting. Otherwise, the reporting's been awful. The city council's review and questioning of Brown when he took office was god horrible. His book that Brown wrote, about his time in Dallas, awful. Completely missed so many facts about what actually happened there. I don't know what is reform-minded spouting about community policing and engagement and getting communities closer. Did any of that happen? No. Were communities that much closer to the police department in Dallas and other cities? No, they weren't. I've talked to reporters. I've gone through all the clips in Dallas. That is just untrue. If there's no way Brown is the reformer that Police Accountability Task Force leader Lightfoot would have been happy with that any other mayor hired. But when she's in the power and in the shoes, yeah, Brown's fine. So I don't know what reform they're talking about. It would be great if the reporters went back through what happened in Dallas piece by piece and report on it. They won't do it, so we're going to do it for you. We'll bring it to you in the summer. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. So there's going to be a link in the chat about, and I'll talk, and it's one of our early shows from it's a YouTube link. It's one of our early shows with Steve Rhodes from the Beechwood Reporter. And basically it's about us talking about the media coverage of Brown and his confirmation hearing. And yes, Patrick Smith did the least worst of that, but it was really awful. Awful across the board. They fell down on their jobs so bad. It was in the midst of a pandemic, but they still usually suck, and this is just another example of their suck, and we're going to scoop the hell out of them in the summer. Don't you worry about that. Becca Jars, let me get a couple more quotes, and then I'll get to your question. Brown has pushed the department to uproot its historic code of silence and embrace community policing. He talks about community policing. The community saturation team or whatever service team that he offered, this saturation team that's just old school policing, it's nothing new. How did people get on there? We did a story a month ago or so on this, about a story about how some cop that's had brutality history and complaint history and was being investigated got on that unit. I don't think there's anything new in any of that. He's pushed the department to uproot its historic code of silence. Crap-ola. BS. Horrible. No, they have not. But that's more them listening to the rhetoric than actually looking at what he does new. You tell me something new that he's done in police shootings or in transparency around anything that another superintendent hasn't done. That's crapola. They're buying the rhetoric and not the actions. So typical for Chicago reporters. Look at what they do, not what they say. Here we go. After retiring from the Dallas department in 2016, Brown published a well-received book called To Rise, chronicling his evolution from throw him in jail and let God sort him out to beat cop into a passionate advocate, community-oriented law enforcement. I forgot the academic's name. He's from a university in Florida. Crank. I had to read his crappy book for a grad school class. He was horrible on police culture. But the one interesting thing he did say about community policing was it's just a way for the police department to get a warrant to go do what they were going to already do anyways. They get the warrant, not from the Justice Department, but from the community. They're going to do the same stuff. They're just getting the community warrant from the community to go do the same shit they were going to do anyways. I don't think community policing's ever been historically good anywhere. I think it's mostly myth. The evaluations of Chicago are horrific. They're done by insider academics who helped write the community policing plan in Chicago. So, of course, they weren't going to evaluate it. I think community policing, for the most part, has been a horrific failure that most people buy in. There's a correlation between crime dropping and community policing coming in. But in Chicago, for example, community policing was already, the crime was already dropping before community policing came in. So it's just bad research. It's just bad research and people buying this bullshit about community policing making a major difference. And I'll tell you, you can look in the 14th, I think it's the 14th district, when a commander there, who's also a scholar, became the commander. The first thing he did is kill community policing because it was crap. It's bullshit. It's a program that never worked. And this idea that it's brought in all these amazing things are just crapola. But journalists suck it up like nobody's business because they love it. All right, here's one more quote, and then we'll get to Back of the Yard's next question. At City Council confirmation hearing, many aldermen had the chance to grill the potential leader of a $1.7 billion per year city agency, and the tone was mostly positive in support of a Brown, with many aldermen thanking him for agreeing to take on the role. Yeah, it's right. Thank the guy instead of really asking him questions. They didn't grill him. There was no grilling there. Zero, negative, nada, nope. Zero. Part of our research on Brown will be looking at that confirmation hearing. That is, this is more rhetoric, crapola, horrible journalism than it is a reflection of what actually went on at that hearing. Crapola. And any alderman that thanked him for taking the job needs to leave. They should be recalled. Get them out. It's a joke. I'm just so sick of these people not doing their damn jobs. So, let's get the back of the Jared's question. With the vigilante culture of John Catanzara and FOP, what leverage does the city have over the CPD? More than you would think. First of all, legislation like through ordinances and then through the state can restrict police actions. For instance, the Anjanette Young ordinance. It's an important piece to pass. Maybe some changes need to be made. I haven't read it in a long time. But it's that type of can just restrict actions. When can you do search warrants? How can you do search warrants? When can you have foot pursuit? You know what? The city council can write their own foot pursuit ordinance policy. This is what you can do. Period. Don't wait for them to do it. They can write their own. So there's plenty of things our city council, our Cook County Board, our Illinois General Assembly can do. They've got to get on and do it. Don't worry about union contracts. Don't worry about any of that. Write the laws, pass them. Restrict their behavior. And open them up and force the transparency. Period. So that's what can be done. And write clearer laws, like the law in the Illinois General Assembly that just passed Omnibus Bill HB 3653, which we've done 2 shows on. You can go look on our Facebook or Twitch or YouTube channels. We did 2. You turn off your body camera to hide something in the middle of some event and you're trying to hide it, class 3 felony. Same thing if you write a false report or you have knowledge of an officer fighting a false report and you don't do anything, class 3 felony. That's going to make things change because then it's much easier to convict them of something. Right? Much easier. You don't want people Using chokeholds. You don't want cops using chokeholds. You don't want cops kneeing on their necks, knee on their backs for 5 minutes or whatever. That's fine. Write a law. Make it a crime. Make it a felony. That way you can easily convict them of things. The laws around policing are so vague. They're using the laws that they use against citizens. That ain't right. Just restrict their behavior. You can't do it. You do this, it's a felony. So that's my view on it.